Bro, I want to talk about the state of New York for a second. New York is in disarray, bro. Um, the issues continue to pile up in New York. The migrant crisis in New York is out of control, and we know this, right? Everybody, that's the big talk. But the underlining previous issues are growing. They're growing. They're competing for attention. The migrant crisis is a huge ordeal, right? It's a huge thing. But the underlying issues that were hitting New York from before, they're posturing and pushing their way to the forefront. They're growing. You know, like they're battling for recognition. They're all battling for attention. All the issues that have been here before, the drug epidemic, the homelessness. I had literally 2 incidents over the last week, right? Happened. The first incident was I was driving, going uptown, and I want to say a wild, deranged woman. Street. She looked like she lived in the street, or maybe not. You can't be sure. You know what I mean? But she had that look on her, and she was just crazed. She was banging on cars, bro. Just as they passed by, she would bang on the cars. And I didn't see her until she was one car in front of me. I just heard the noise, boom. But I didn't know what it was. So when she got in front of me, she banged on the window. I didn't have time. We were going like maybe 30 miles an hour. So I didn't have time to swerve into the next lane, and she banged my window. My as a result, my what's that window that you rear view mirror shattered. And I was like, what the fuck, bro? I pulled over to get out the car. Then I thought about it, right? I thought about it real quick. Like, I got out the car because, of course, I'm like pissed off, right? But then I got out the car and I'm thinking, like, okay, what you gonna do? It's a crazy lady. You gonna beat up a crazy lady? And I'm thinking, like, I'm standing there looking at this crazy lady continue to hit cars. Like, she didn't stop. She continued. She's walking in the direction I'm coming from, but she's continuing on her rampage, just hitting other cars. And I'm looking like, what's your move? Like, what what is your move? Like, what are you thinking right now? There is no move for you, bro. You don't have a move in this situation. It's a lose-lose situation for you. There is no win in that situation. I would not get no resolve from tracking her down because I could see her, right? I could see her, and there's no gratification for me to go over there and address her. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna go over there and hit her? You ain't talk. You gonna go over there and talk to a crazy lady? Like, and the only option I had was to call the police, right? But I decided, nah, I'm not calling no police, bro. I don't even want to deal with the situation. The situation, like, you have very little options. First of all, there's two rules, right? In New York, there's several rules, but two rules that kind of affiliated with what I'm talking about. You don't fight certain people. One, a gay individual. You don't fight a gay individual unless you have to. Unless you have no other remedy. There's no other remedy. Move on. The next scenario, a homeless person. A homeless person is not the type of people you want to have close contact with. A homeless person is not regularly taking a shower. I mean, there's some that might, but nah. So for you to get into an altercation with a homeless person, and I've seen this happen before, like a dude on the train fought a homeless person. That was the worst mistake he ever made in his life. He smelled like the homeless person after that. Like, yo, get away from me, yo. You stink now, nigga. You stink now. Yo, get away from me, yo. You need to go home and scrub now that you've done that. You know what I mean? That was a mistake, a ill judgment, a bad judgment on your part to do that. So that's the second scenario. A third scenario is a crazy person. And you don't fight a crazy person, bro. Like, if the person seems like they're not in their right state of mind, you gotta observe what's happening around you, and if this person is not moving properly, like they're not moving as if they have everything up here, find your way out of that situation, bro. Find your way out of that situation. Of course, you're gonna have to do it diligently. There's a way to do it. Don't be turning your back on no crazy person. Like, once y'all having an altercation, don't just disengage. Disengage safely. Because a crazy person is crazy. That's what we talking about. They're liable to. And this reminds me of a video we saw, right? It's a short or some type of video that we saw, and this dude is sitting in a mental institution, right? He's sitting there in the lobby of a mental institution, and one of the what do you call them? One of the residents, came behind him and smacked the shit out of him in his neck. You're like, yo, on camera, bro, on camera. And although it was funny, right after, I'm sure it wasn't funny then. You know what I mean? It was funny because we were watching it on camera, right? But at that moment, I'm 100% sure shit was not funny right then. So those are and there's more situations. A girl, you don't want to fight no girl. A girl with any of those, issues that we just labeled earlier, you just gotta disengage. If it's a girl, you want to disengage already. You don't even want to argue with no girl, bro. Like, having an argument with a girl is not a good look. You're arguing with a girl. I mean, just don't do that. You don't want to have an argument with anybody. You know what I mean? But these are the arguments you disengage just based on the person. Just disengage, bro. Just try to safely disengage. A normal girl is not the same as a crazy person. It's not what I'm saying, right? Or a homeless person is not the same as a crazy person or a female. I'm not associating them with each other. What I'm saying is, these are the 3 scenarios or 4 scenarios that if you can avoid it. There's no gratification, or there's no positive outcome in those scenarios. And it's the scenario that I had to deal with, right? It was two. It was a female, a crazy person, and she looked a little homeless. A triple threat. A potential triple threat of disengagement. So I got out the car and I'm thinking, okay, what's your move? You gonna go after this lady? You beating this lady up in the streets? No. That's not your move. Your only move is to call the police, and that's like we don't really do that. We don't really call the police unless it's some type of dire emergency and something that we can't handle. I don't think I've ever called the police. I don't think I've ever called 911 and say, yeah, come to this address, I need help. I don't think I can recall myself ever doing that. It's just not a thing to do. We don't do it. I'm sure, they're useful in certain situations, but we just don't make that a common practice. Then there was another scenario. This one wasn't me. It was a friend of mine. A friend of mine is on her way to work, right? She's on her way to work, and it's the morning, like 8 o'clock in the morning. Time is relevant, right? She goes up the steps to to go into the train station. She's coming up the steps from where her job is. It's downtown somewhere. So she's coming up the steps. She just rode the train. She's coming up the steps of the train station. And there's 3 crackheads doing crack. And I don't even think that's crack because they're injecting something. That's not crack. So let's leave it at just drugs. They're doing drugs and their back is turned to her, right? So she's coming up the steps. She's not really paying attention, but she sees this when they're right in front of her. Like she's up on them and there's people behind her. You know, everybody's coming up the steps. Homeboy, it's a male. Homeboy turns around and he's butt naked. He just got a coat on. so she's like, what the fuck? And tries to back up, but because there's people coming up the steps, she can't back up, fast. She has to bump into people to try to navigate her way out of that situation. Bro, 8 in the morning, bro. You butt naked with a coat on, doing drugs, sticking needles in your arm. I don't really know what what drug that is when you're sticking needles in your arm. That's I don't know. It could be a plethora of drugs. I really don't know. There's so many drugs now. It's just ridiculous. But that's wild. And mind you, this is downtown Manhattan. This is not a drug infested area. This is just Manhattan, bro. Like, what? So the situation in New York, bro, is getting dire, bro. It's getting bad. It has been bad for some years. This is why I tell people New York is a place to visit, not live. And then even that is a problem because now if you visit, you don't know the ins and outs of you don't have New York street knowledge. You know what I mean? You don't have New York street knowledge if you're a foreigner. Like all these people that come to New York to visit, they don't have New York street knowledge. They're just sightseeing and going about their day, not really thinking about negative stuff. Negative stuff happens, they don't know how to chances are they won't know how to react properly, and might worsen the situation. So New York is New Yorking, bro. New York is wilding right now. New York is wilding. It is. It is. It is getting to a point where it's time to move, bro. Like it's time to get the fuck out the city, bro. Like it's coming to that point. It is just horrible. And they're still it's still a decent city. It's not dead yet, but it's showing signs, bro. It's showing signs. And then, okay, you move from New York and go where? I mean, a New Yorker can survive anywhere, but as I visit certain states, I realize that you're jumping from the fire to a alternate fire. You're jumping out the fire to an alternate fire. It's another fire. New, which tells me America's on fire as we speak. And that begs the question, is America on fire? It's crazy, bro. It's really, really wild, bro. It's really, really wild.